Mod time is here for Farm Sim 25 with 23 mods released today. All platforms got 8 new and 1 update. PC and Mac players got 6 new and 8 updates. Now, I will tell you that there was a 4X map released earlier for crossplay. However, that has been removed and it is now a PC-only map. You'll also need to re-download that if you're on PC, as it's going to show as a completely different mod. So with that out of the way, let's jump right in. Starting off today, we've got one that we did a video on yesterday, the Fendt Vario Forestry Edition pack from Chris S. and Riley S. I've done a super full showcase of this mod pack, so if you want to see that video, if you haven't seen it already, definitely go check that out. We'll be going over the basics here, just like everything. So customization options are going to be exactly what you would expect from base game. So the 1000, for example, goes up to the 1050. However, it's also available with a 1000 horsepower engine and a 5,000 horsepower engine. However, the 5,000 one says, and I can't make this up, non-farming edition. Love that, love that. So if you're doing farming, definitely go with the 1000. Also, if you're doing farming, maybe check out the standard high friction tires or go with the Pro Grips. The Pro Grips are pretty darn sweet. Both of these are going to give you at least twice the amount of grip you would normally get. So yeah, definitely check that out. Because these are forestry, you've also got some forestry design stuff. Like one of my favorites is the fall camouflage setup. However, as you've seen, there's a lot of other stuff too. Like they have their custom forestry orange. You got the Colossus camouflage. Oh yeah, that's in there. You've even got the owl that hurts my eyes white. Stop, please leave me alone. Don't hurt me. And then you've got a couple more green camouflage. And you got green camouflage U color. What that means is you can take the camouflage, so anything that's camo is cool. However, you can then go in and change up whatever you want. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's pretty sweet. And yes, you even have a 5,000 horsepower engine in the little guy, the 200V Vario. And yes, it does have the high friction tires, which is fantastic. There's even the twin wheels high friction, and if you're going to go with this one, I definitely recommend that you go with that and then add the additional weight. You may see it kind of pop up and down. It just makes it way more. It goes from 3.5 to 4.7 tons weight, which is very helpful when you're going 200 miles an hour. Had a couple questions to that video yesterday. There are no front loaders, and you are able to remove the markers on the 700, but not on the 900. Sorry, 1000. There is no 900. There's also a winch, but you will need to go for the front bull bar setup. So bull bar's got some extra lights on it, which is pretty sweet. But if you want to go with the winch, which is added right there in the middle, you could go with the bull bar. Pretty cool, huh? Oh yeah, and also because it's forestry, you've got full cabin protection on there. That's pretty sweet. And there you go. That is kind of like the full setup of the Forestry Edition. We do have flashers that are added as well. So we have flashers that are added on the bull bar itself, on the side of the tractor, and around towards the very back. And those are added with your blinky blinkies on the top. So that will work good for that. What were those called? Beacons, not blinky blinkies. And of course, there are colors for everything, including the all-important toothpaste tractor. But if you're not a big fan of that, you can go with anything you want. There's even some Fendt blue in here as well. You've got the regular, the satin, and the Fendt blue chrome, which is just insane. I think I'll stick with the regular Fendt blue, but you could go with all of that. And pretty much all of these have the same or very, very similar customization options. For example, you do have a winch that's added here on the 700, but it does not have some of the other options. And then down here, you do not have any of that. So you do have the front bull bar and you do have the cabin protection. However, there is no winch in the middle of the 200. There's no animations as well, so heads up through there. You're not going to be able to find any of those. And yes, I've gone for the 5,000. I can't drive. Going for the 5,000 horsepower engine here with Pro Grip wheels. And boy, does it get up and move. You're not going to have any issues whatsoever. I am running this on the 4 fields map, so that should at least give you an idea of what to expect as far as speed goes. Honestly, I think the little 200 reaches top speed a little bit faster, and yes, it brakes very well. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to use the brakes, because if you use the brakes, well, it's kind of the same as not using them. You're spinning. All right, so we're going to let off now, and then now I'm going to use the brakes, and brakes. Yeah, it's basically the same. The wheels are either on or they're not. What's really cool about these as well is because they've got the Colossus stuff in there, now if you wanted to go down to your Colossus pack, wherever that may be, where are you at, Colossus? Here it is. You could go in here and you can utilize this along with that, which is very, very cool. It's still got that same camouflage that you come to expect from everything else. And you can even run up maybe a front mower, or maybe you wanted to use some of the grass work or something like that. You can now have a full setup of Colossus stuff for your farm. It's ridiculous. It really, truly is just ridiculous. I'm also realizing it's got so much power. If you set it up right, you can still do donuts. Well, almost do donuts. The next mod is not as insane, but it is very cool, and we don't have a lot of New Holland mods yet, so it's very nice to see this from Farm Central Soul. We have the New Holland TL Exitus Series 2014. On here, we have configurations for a flatbed or cabinet. I think those were mistranslated. You've got either a canopy or an enclosed cabin. You've also got engines from 75 up to 98 horsepower. I guess 26 miles an hour. Wheel options bring you from Lizard. You've got a Trelleborg set if you want. Michelin, Continental, Vredestein, Midas, BKT, and Nokian tires. And yes, we do have some pretty fun stuff in here. So you can go with that if you wanted to. If you guys are doing rice, something like this. Definitely very, very cool to have. We're just going to drop back to the standard for now. Front weights, we've got a 70 kg all the way up to a 280 hydraulic lift auxiliary cylinder. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. It is added towards the back. Okay, so you get a little bit of extra support there. Very nice. Wheel weights are separate. I love that. Radio antenna, you've got those as well. Some people like them. I'm not a big fan, but it just kind of is what it is. Exhaust design, you got a few of those as well. Very cool there. Front fenders, yes or no. Very nice. And then front loaders for Quickie and Howard. We've also got color options. So the windows, we actually have colors for the windows, although they don't actually do anything. And then the ones that come in the base game don't work. So they're not supposed to be fair. Those are not supposed to work. Those are special things. So you've got standard, light, and dark. You've also got the hood color as well, which can be changed up. Very cool. And rim colors, of course, those can be changed too. We do have custom sound on here. Check this out. It doesn't want to get out of first gear. But there's that. So I have automatic transmission turned on, and this ain't getting out of first gear. I don't know what's going on, but maybe you got some issues with it too. Either way, I think the engine sounds pretty cool. You can open up the side doors, which is nice, and you can open up the rear as well. Just doesn't get out of first gear. Wonder how that got through. Next, we have something very cool. This is the Claas Harvester 500,000 edition pack. Check this out. So we basically got stuff that we've had for a while, the Tryon and the Lexian, as well as a couple headers and a corn header. And everything's kind of the same as what we've normally been seeing with these. We've got the same engines as well. But we also have the Demo Tour Front Edition, which is super cool. Look at that. Oh, I think that's so cool. We do have pretty much the same wheels you would expect to see, so there's that. We can also change up from a Night Edition and the Black Edition if you wanted that too. However, if you choose those, you will have them overridden with the Tour France Edition. To be honest with you, I like that Night Edition. I think that looks pretty sweet. We can also change up the glass color. That's nice. And then we've got a couple different signs there for the front and the back. Oh yeah, and you can change the LED between standard and, LED, I guess. There's that. The Lexian 6900 can also be bumped up all the way to an 8900. So that is very cool too. Same wheel options you would expect, same sign options, same everything. You've even got the night and black editions on this one too. And just so you can see it, where is it? Come on, customization, there we go. That is your 500,000 edition here. You may also have noticed that quite a few things disappear on the left-hand side, so you're not able to do a lot of the options anymore, but it does give you some pretty good ones. Now, as far as your headers go, these are going to be exactly the same as normal, but we do have that Night Edition and the Black Edition as well as the Demo Tour France version for both of these. It's exactly the same, and even for the corn header. We don't have the big corn head, but we do have this one. So, hey, something's better than nothing. I'll give you that much. All the way from Hispano-Money, we have the Hatzenbichler Terminator ATTS 2000. Yo, this was like the first seeder that I ever really used in Farming Simulator 17 after downloading the Big Bud pack. I actually got the Big Bud pack as I started playing because it was already out at that point. This was a very, very cool setup. I was also kind of confused on what goes where, but yeah, this goes behind your seed unit right here, which I was not a fan of because it made it difficult to drive around. But on big square fields, no issues whatsoever. It will hold 14,720 liters. That's going to be your seed and solid fertilizer. And then you've got the unit on the back, which is a direct drill, which is very, very cool. Also, both of these have a lot of color customization. So let's say you're using John Deere. I use that for example because, well, let's be honest, it's easy. All you got to do is change up a few things and then boom, John Deere. Everybody's happy. Or maybe you're using Claas. We just talked about a Claas combine. So you're like, man, I wish I had more Claas stuff. Where's the Claas colors? There we go. There's a Claas color. I think this one's more like in that. Yeah, that looks about right. And then your frame, this is Fendt red for some reason. Boom, there you go, Claas. If you are curious, you're going to be holding 4,600 liters of solid fertilizer and 10,120 liters of seed. And this is the way that everything is set up to work. Now, there is one other cool thing. So we've, of course, got the unfolding the seeder bit right there, but we also have the open cover option. God, this stuff makes a lot of noise, doesn't it? So you do have a way where you could pull under semi-trucks or maybe a dump truck or something, or maybe even just kind of a smaller tipper and dump into there. Oh my gosh, hurry up, you're so loud. Oh, goodness gracious. So you can refill, there you go, you've got seeds there, and then we can open up the next tank and it flips up to the solid fertilizer tank, and whenever we're all said done, it'll fold back in. There you go. This is also with the 5,000 horsepower engine, which I do not recommend using for farming, but it will work. Having these released is pretty awesome because now we pretty much have all of the big stuff minus the John Deere stuff. So you've got your Hatzenbichler there. Down here we've got the Seed Hawk air card, although we don't have the big one yet. That's going to be released with the Plains and Prairies DLC. You've got the big Borgo stuff and even the little Borgo. So pretty much everything you could possibly either want right now. Again, I say minus that big John Deere or maybe minus a case if you wanted to use that, but I would still recommend going for Borgo. Still very cool. It's nice that Hispano-Money's been able to bring over so many of these from not only previous games, but previous games DLC as well. Very rare. Hispano-Money's also got you covered here with some bale pickups. The Anderson Group TSR 3450. This was released with the first DLC from Farm Sim 19. The Anderson Group pack. This will pick up 14 bales, range of your 180, 220, and 240 centimeter square bales. It'll also pick up those blocks of baby bales, like the 14 block of them. It'll also pick those up too. We do have a couple different wheel options to choose from as far as tires go. And then, of course, you've got a main color option. We'll just go with orange for now. Design, how about we go with pink, just so we see exactly what changes. Okay, those little bits right there. And rim colors are rim colors at the end of the day. And before we jump over to maps, we've got the sheds pack. This is a pretty basic shed pack. I think we've got quite a few things that are similar to everything in here already. However, it's nice to see a couple more options. Maybe something in here is exactly what you've been looking for. And if it is, hey, it's here now. And now we get to talk about some maps for crossplay. The first one is Ladyhill from FS Landscaping. This was originally released back in Farming Simulator 22, and it is back for FS 25. And you're like, wait a minute, isn't that the one with like that dirt track in the middle of the woods? You darn right it is. Check this out. All the way back way up here. Which, by the way, yes, this is a quarry. You've also got this whole little stretch in between here. Absolutely love it. It's the coolest thing ever. I love seeing stuff like this. Super unique and super different. It's just so much fun. I will say this, though. It doesn't look like there's any gravel in here. I know in previous game, all of this was full of gravel. And you had to get it all up, or rocks, I guess. But it doesn't look like that has been added in for this version. That doesn't mean that you can't do anything with it. And, of course, Terraform is out now, so hey, you can still have some fun with it. This is a Northern Irish map, and we've got quite a few fields on here to choose from. Obviously, we don't start with a whole lot. We get this little chunk down here, which can be found individually, and then we've got all the area around, including the main farm, which is also individually purchased. And it is a neat setup as well. There's all kinds of stuff in here. I don't know how in the world he did this. FS, how'd you do this, dude? It's just so in here, and like all the little buildings have these little tiny pathways in between. There's a door back there. You've also got this area back here, which you can open that up and then go through here, into the back room here, and then out there. This is how did I do that? There's just ways to get in and out of everything everywhere. And this all go, oh, that's creepy, Dave. Let's go around this way of the house. But anyway, you got your house here as well. This appears to have an interior. Let's see if we can get in there. Doesn't look like we can get in there, but it does have an inside. Just can't get in. Being an Irish map, of course, it is going to be a bit of grain crops, and it is going to be a lot of grass. And as you can see with all the green, that is exactly what you're getting here. Around the whole thing, there are 8 small farms with 4 small farm areas, which can be purchased, sold, and bought again without the need to sell any placeables. There's also a cattle pen mod, which comes with the map. Now, it's right here. They did say that it was free. However, the one that I'm seeing costs you $4,000, and it looks like it might actually change the landscape. Let's use a couple of our owned areas. Here we go. Do I want to customize? No. Cool. It looks like we've got kind of a little bonk right there in the middle of it. Let's try another one right over here, except we're going to use free build. Place that down. No. And we still have a little kind of a hole in the ground almost. So I wonder what's up with that. Nonetheless, you can put that down. You can build the fence around it, and all that good stuff. The other question I have is, how do I get to the cow stuff? Well, maybe this hole in the ground's here for a reason, because that's about where the trigger is. So that's pretty simple, pretty easy, and it looks like it holds 200 animals. That's pretty sweet. As for everything else, there is your PDA. If we pop down, here is your crop calendar. If we take a look at our animals that we've got, now I have already put down these 2 right here. However, this one is not that one that I put down. This comes with it. So you've got a couple baby cows here, 80 of them as a matter of fact. So you can start raising them from nothing right away. As far as production chains, we do own the dairy. That's pretty sweet. And if we pop around, we can also see there is a lumber mill sell point on the map as well. There are 0 required mods, so all you got to do is jump on and have some fun. And we've got another new map for you guys. This one's a European map, Nordkirchen. It is also from the FrechDachs 93, made the FrechDachs map, which got an update today. So that is very, very cool. And then a good thing is they've also added their crops to this. So right off the bat, we have multiple different, why am I clicking it? Multiple different new crops added, including spelt, kale, rye, field grass, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Very cool. Super flat map, not completely flat, but for all intents and purposes, very, very flat. No square fields, although they are trapezoidal. They are squared off with 4 sides. And we own all this at the weedy tippy top. So everything's ready for harvest, which is nice. You've got some soybeans, oats, and wheat there. And then, of course, we have our main farm. If we pop around, we could take a look. I also don't know what's going on with the last 2 maps that I've looked at. Both of them seems to have something going on with it being a little bit dark. And I have no idea why. It's so beautiful, but yeah, it's extremely dark in both of these maps for some reason. Not sure what's up with that. Maybe if I've got a mod that's causing some issues or something. Not quite sure. But anyway, there you go. You can see around the main farm. It's always nice to see that. As for your crop calendar, here you go for that. Of course, it's going to be a little bit longer now because you've got all this extra stuff in here. And one of the nice things is it doesn't look to be. Nah, it is. It's base game. As far as animal pens, we do have a cow barn on the map by default. We do own a medium glass greenhouse, so that is already there. And then we got the BGA, cement factory, dairy, and sawmill down there. And just like the other map, there are no required mods, so you can jump on and start playing right away. We only have the one update today for crossplay, and actually part of this update is PC only. This is the SDF Open Field Pack version 1001. Fixed several visual bugs, added front license plate and grid color options, removed 2 redundant mouse controls to hopefully stop dedicated server crashes, and added interactive control by Vertex Design. That is the PC only thing. Jumping over 2 new ones for PC and Mac players, we have the map Oak City. Now this was originally released on all platforms. It's a 4X map, and so far it's been the only 4X map to release onto consoles in FS25. However, there was a bit of an issue as some Xbox players were reporting some crashing. There was also the ability that nobody could save the game, so there was a bit of a problem. So it looks like the Giants have removed it and put it back to PC and Mac only. Could it come back later on? Maybe. There's always a chance of everything. We will just have to wait and see. But as for our PC and Mac friends, this is not just a big old desert. It's actually got some grass down here, but unfortunately, the draw distance, I think, was done for console, so the grass doesn't go very far. It goes as far as your little circle thing that you got going on. You guys know what that is. So this is loosely inspired by Oak City, Utah, USA. It's a land of pioneers where much of it is still underdeveloped. The city is located 1,000 meters above sea level and at the foot of the Rocky Mountains. Oh, look at cool. Here is your city in the middle of nowhere. Right here in the middle. Bam! Nope, right here. Right down here. This is it. That's it. Really, there's not a whole lot else going on. There's a lot of farmland, a lot of square fields, some circle fields as well. So once that pivot irrigation comes out, you'll be able to use that on here, and that'll be pretty darn sweet. You've got 462 hectares of arable fields built into 85 separate plots. Those are just your fields, though. Customized map for precision farming if you're using that, but heads up, don't forget, precision farming is not working 100% right now. Large spaces clear 4 selling points and production points. However, there are no animal points on the map, so heads up through there. There's also a bunch of destructible rocks, which is very cool, so if you guys want to crush up some rocks, you can easily do that, and much more. They also say you can go looking for rare flowers to complete your collection. So that's going to be your collectibles for the map. Bunch of flowers. Very cool. I like that it's very different and quite unique. Also says the pioneers have buried their treasure. You need a lot of courage to find it. Not quite sure what they mean by that, but maybe we'll figure that out soon. What do we got right here? No trespassing, private property, keep out. Boop. Come at me, bro. As mentioned, here is your map. If we pop in to see what all we get in New Farmer Mode, it's actually a good chunkarooski over here. You got a couple fields, which is nice to see. 4 of them, it looks like. 1 open area, and then you've got your main farmland, which is pretty cool. If we pop around and take a look at it, you can see your main farm, and we've got some pretty standard stuff on here. You've got a setup here for a barn. You've also got a nice silo system, but it is very, very bare. So if you're going to be doing much, I think you're going to have to start putting some stuff down. And also over here, you've got your trailer. Because of course, why not? Here's 2 of the fields that you get in New Farmer Mode. Here is that kind of wide open area. And then here's a couple more fields over here. Super hilly. Definitely reminds me of where I used to live in the Appalachian Mountains. Although I'm pretty sure these are much taller. As for everything else going through, here is your crop calendar. It's going to look pretty similar to base game. No animals as mentioned. We do have production chains, so there is that, including a bioplastics factory. That's kind of neat. That is a mod, though, so do be aware of that. It's a required mod, and it's made by the same person who made the map. So there's that. There's your prices of stuff. No new crops or anything like that. So it just kind of is what it is. And just a quick note, there are a couple required mods, and they are from the same modder who made the map. And of course, we have done this again. Why does FarmSim do this? Come on, man. It does it with every mod, not just specific ones. There we go. Next, we got the Springer Winter Equipment Pack. This is from Agrar Design Austria and includes 9 pieces of equipment. To be fair, out of those, 6 are snowblades and 3 are salt spreaders. So there is that. Pretty standard stuff through here. We do have a couple little flags, which is cool, and some snow dust protection. You're going to see that as well here. We have a couple setups here, but they're really not going to change anything, to be fair. There you go. Very cool, very cool. There's a snowpack, man. I don't really know what to say. They all kind of work the same. It's just customization options will be a little bit different. And then you've got some salt spreaders here. This one confused me at first. However, this is the lowered position, and these are in the raised position. Not sure why that one is in the lowered, but it's different for sure. You have the bolt hole as well. Gotta be careful about saying that 5 times fast. All right, moving on. Next, we have the Hakki Pilke Pro. DJ doesn't know how to say that word right there, but that's what this is. It might look familiar to you because it's exactly the same thing as this mod, which is also from the same modder. However, this is like a, non-branded version. I guess it's not Lizard, but it may as well be. However, this guy right here, this is a branded version. It's exactly the same, works exactly the same, from the same modder. As a matter of fact, everything is literally exactly the same. You wouldn't know which one you clicked on, but you've got wood in, firewood out, and that's about it for you. That's all I got. That's what it does. We got the same thing. This is a crossplay mod, and this one is PC and Mac only, because it is branded. Back into the mod up for a couple, we have the Direct Drill add-on from Yoast. This allows direct drilling for all seeders and planters. The feature can be enabled or disabled using Control and D. There's also Quick Selector. This enhances gameplay with an intuitive user interface. It is kind of all over the place, but it is pretty sweet. It offers additional game functions and quick access to essential game and vehicle controls. Features a list of personal vehicles and implements, additional vehicle information, and the possibility to operate selected vehicles and implement functions with a click. By default, the HUD can be opened with a double right mouse click or via configurable keys. You've also got right control key on the gamepad. You've got arrow down and square on PlayStation, and button X on PlayStation and A on Xbox. So that's pretty cool. I like that they added console controller bits to this, even though it's a PC-only thing. I use a controller on PC myself. Some key features of this include selectable vehicles. So, paginated? I don't think that's right. List of owned vehicles and attached implements, vehicle controls, so you start the engine, enter or exit vehicles and toggle attachments, operate implements, power on, folding, lowering, unloading, a control cruise speed. Also, vehicle reordering, so you can reorganize vehicles in list, which also updates their tab order. Lights control, switch vehicle lights, all lights, front, back lights, beacon and hazard lights, AI and helpers. It opens the AI screens to hire helpers. Also, game management, opens menus, access the shop, save the game, adjust settings, and exit. There's a whole lot going on here. And your last new one for PC and Mac players, things pretty straightforward. Don't disable steering assist while changing direction. The steering assist won't be disabled while changing between reverse and forward gears. It's got to be a better name for this, but hey, it does what it's supposed to. Lastly, we have some updates for PC and Mac players. First one is the map FrechDachs Map 4X version 1.2. Small ground adjustments, 84 ground textures added, helper-friendly cell adjusted, farmland 226 changed, fixed placeable objects underground, more bushes blocked, road correction, road correction, roads cleared of snow. Additional crops been added, including rye, triticale, spelled green rye, vetch rye, field grass, silage maize, humushkative, and mustard. Also, Precision Farming 3.0 ready. A new save game is required for this. And don't forget, Precision Farming doesn't work 100% yet, so maybe hold off on that part. From HR Forest, an update to the KRPAN RD1600E version 1001. Fixed dev warnings after patch 1.7. One of my favorite mods, Store Deliveries version 101. Added a check to make sure the initial loading of the mod isn't bypassed due to other mods. Follow Me also got an update. This will be version 1.2. Correction for action follower. Choose other being recognized as initiate choose other when vehicle had no followers, no to control. Ooh, my brain hurts reading that. Also, fix for truncated rendered multi-line text when initiating and controlling a follower caused by other mods. Use of set text line bounds ... without a corresponding reset back to unrestricted text line bounds. Ugh, I need a doctor. That hurt. All right, this one's a little bit easier on my face. The Real Dirt Color version 104 added support to check the parts of the vehicles, which will prevent errors if the game removes any during gameplay. Got Lime Contracts version 1001, doubled the reward per hectare and added the CZPL and RU translations. Next to last, one of my most used mods. This is the Info Display Extension version 1.2. More translations have been added. Debug output for trees has been deactivated. Correction calculation of tree times with 24-hour difference in growth. Fix for manure heap removed as fix in the base game by patch. Make sure you use a manure heap extension. Also, shortened translations for various keys for some languages in the F1 menu. Working with display now works again if set via other configurations, which was fixed in patch 1.7. Working speed is now displayed if it is available. Fix the incorrect growth display, like for grapes, for example. Weed status is now displayed with device that is necessary. Support of the adjusted working speed mod. Display of the actual working speed and the original in brackets. That's kind of cool. Also, we have grass growth is now displayed in the first stage, and another stage is coming, and fix the giant error of double manure display for animal barns with integrated manure piles. Lastly, we have an update again, another one to realistic weather. This is going to be version 1.2, and it is a big update. So they've added dynamic crop fires. They also added dynamic field flooding, added slurry tanker irrigation support, which is 3 times more output than sprayers, added irrigation contracts. Additionally, we've got added settings menu to the general settings page, added a moisture screen to the menu where you can view moisture related values for owned fields and off fields, and an option to toggle irrigation for the fields, added default harvest moisture range for new modded crop types, reworked the crops withering at low moisture to visually wither the crops instead of creating empty spaces, rework the moisture harvest yield, rework the sprayer irrigation to be more accurate, rework the moisture gap generation system for more variation, significant performance improvements. Back up to the top now, lowered the spray effect on moisture, reduced chance of blizzards and droughts, improved how moisture system interprets rainfall, fixed an issue causing the game to permanently freeze, fixed spraying not syncing on multiplayer, fixed empty bales remaining after rotting, possible fix for memory leaks, various bug fixes, prevent fog from spawning 2 days in a row, at a Ukrainian translation, Brazilian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and Czech. And lastly, they've added the following options to the settings menu. The ability to rebuild the moisture map with custom cell dimensions, enable disable withering, withering chance modifier, moisture gain modifier, moisture loss modifier, grass moisture gain modifier, grass moisture loss modifier, performance index modifier, moisture overlay behavior, moisture screen behavior, enable and disable blizzards, droughts, crop fires, puddles, and change moisture harvest yield factor. What an update. And there we go. Some pretty cool mods today. I gotta give it to you. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Fendt Vario Forestry edition, and it's really nice to see some returners coming back thanks to Hispanomodding, and of course, always nice to have some new maps. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, get subscribed if you're new, and join the DjGoHam fam. Double check those notifications. That way you never miss upcoming any mod right here at Farm Sim 25. Hope you have an awesome day. We'll catch you in the next one.